find the best artists that I could possibly bring in. These people, most of them that I have in the gallery right now, have great bios. I printed up a bio of one of our artists the other day for somebody. It had 14 pages. And
they are all locally, nationally, and internationally famed, is that correct?
That's right, exactly.
And you have over 30 artists right now in your collection at the gallery, and your collection rotates monthly, is that correct?
Yes, it does. We try to keep a show up. We try to do a show early in the month and keep that up during most of the month. We'll go anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 weeks with a show up on the walls. Mm-hmm. We have major openings. This year we're going to have many of our artists visiting us here in Key West. One of our artists, Gene Peterson, will also be teaching over at the studios of Key West. Right now we have 4 out of the 10 people who we are displaying and showing here at the gallery this month are teachers. They travel nationally and internationally, and just like I just mentioned, Jean Peterson, she just returned from Italy, where she addressed the World Watercolor Association. And next year she'll be going back and teaching a class or 2 in watercolor. Jean Peterson is as well known in watercolor as she is in acrylics. And several of our artists have taught here in town at the studios of Key West, and they are nationally and internationally recognized as great teachers, giving back to the art what they have been able to develop themselves and helping other people come along. So I think I'm surprised when I started adding it up that we had 4 on the wall right now who are those kind of people, you know. Most of our artists are internationally and nationally known. Most of them have had their art resold through Christie's and Sotheby's, and I'd like to see artists who have done that because it helps establish a price. We have tried to keep our prices to a very medium area so that the art is accessible to purchase by all kinds of people, not just the totally rich. So,
Paul, your gallery is located at 522 Southern Street in the heart of Old Town Key West.
Yes, it is, and we picked this location. It's not on the main drag, but it's just a half a block off and easily accessible by walking the city of Key West. As you look around the gallery and see some of our other artists, there are a number of people that are quite well regarded. As I said, Tamara Kander up there, I printed off her bio the other day. 14 pages. I was just shocked. It seems like there's not a corporation or a bank in the state of Indiana that doesn't have some of her paintings. Although she was originally born in Israel, raised in South Africa, and then educated in New York and in Canada, or in England. Other artists like Gene Peterson. Gene actually is from Connecticut, but is now a Canadian citizen, lives up in Calgary, Canada, and she and her husband have been up there. She's who's who of Canada in art. She's also the recipient of the Diamond Jubilee Award from Queen Elizabeth. And in fact, some of her paintings are in Queen Elizabeth's private collection. And
Paul, we are live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, and YouTube, as well as our website. If you'd like to follow any of our accounts, just search Gilday Contemporary Gallery on Google and connect to the links. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to be updated and notified when we're going live next.
I want to thank everybody for their time today, and hope they get a chance to visit Gilday Contemporary Gallery in the heart of Old Town Key West.
Let's take a look at these paintings a little bit closer. This is Love in Bloom.
Yes.
It's a 42 by 36 oil on canvas.
And this seems to be one of my favorites, which is called Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm. We didn't get to see much of this on tape today, so this is an interesting painting. Can you tell me about this?
Well, it shows a lot of emotion, and it's called fluting or something like that, is what he's chosen as a name. But as you can see, it certainly has some very vivid individuals all surfing down or falling down. Looks like a waterway, so it's fun.
What's the price ranges of these paintings?
These are very moderate. These are all in the 3,000 to 2,800 area. You know, Pierre's kept his prices very low and made them accessible to the average individual, I think.
Mm-hmm. And how do they contact you to buy one of these paintings? Remember, we're live on the internet, and these are all one-of-a-kind paintings, and it is first come, first served. So how do they contact you?
Well, they can call us on the phone, which is area code 305-797-6485, or obviously on the internet, it's gildaygallery@gmail.com.
Right.
One of the artists we haven't talked about is this next one, which is Nancy Tinkersley. Nancy is part of the Impressionist Society. In fact, she has a show going right now up in New York at the Solomon Gundick Club, which is down in the Gramercy Park area. And that's a club that's devoted to very much similar type art, which is impressionistic. Nancy taught here last year for a couple of weeks and found her way into the gallery after she had checked out all of the other galleries and said that she'd love to be a part of ours. Nancy used to be a portrait painter, but she is very well regarded in the plein air world of painting. And Nancy has had her own gallery up in eastern Maryland, which is on the Chesapeake, for over 20 years. And her work is, this is a very interesting thing. This is oil, and the studio that she was using in Key West while she was here was small, so the smell of the oil was starting to bother her. So she decided to use acrylic, and this is her first acrylic painting. And I love it. And she also has painted me a rooster, which I had never had in the gallery before, as a joke, obviously.
And why is it a joke? Because?
Well, too many of the other galleries carry roosters. That's the rooster is the national bird, if you don't know it, of Key West. Nancy just won a major award out in the state of Washington, where she was exhibiting on plein air painting. She did a plein air painting of a lobster shack out in Stock Island, which is the next island to Key West, and it's where the lobster boats and the shrimp boats all berth. So that unfortunately was sold. One of my collectors here was very interested in purchasing it, but it got sold out the West Coast. She paints a lot of scenes from restaurants, and one of our local people just bought one of her paintings called The Authentic Caesar, and it's hanging in their kitchen right now, of all places. A nice, expensive piece of art to have in your kitchen. But Nancy will be here in February. She's receiving an award up in Palm Beach, and going to be spending a couple of days, and we'll have a get-together one evening with her, and she'll be glad to discuss all facts, all parts of her teaching life. She is in great demand nationally as a teacher.
I'm just looking up the date here for your next gallery opening. It will be January 9th. It's a Monday.
9th, which will be a Monday night. We'll be opening doors at 6 and going to about 8:30. And obviously we will be serving some great libation, you know.
And what's the theme of this, of January's opening?
Show is going to be called East Meets West. I have a number of artists from Santa Fe and west of the Mississippi, and we'll use the Mississippi as a dividing line. And we've got some great artists from that section of the United States. Plus, people like Nancy will be part of the people on the East Coast. So, East meets West. So some of our artists will be from both east and west of the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. And how do they sign up for this party?
Well, all they've got to do is send us their email address and ask to be put on our email list, and they'll be getting our notifications. We are going to be using email this year for notifications. Gene Peterson, who will be here in February, also teaching over at the studios of Key West. We will be having her in the gallery for a show, not a show, but for a artist discussion, and the public will be invited to attend, and certainly some good libation will be there. One of the more interesting artists that have been with us since our first days in the business of having a gallery is right over here on the wall. Her art is behind glass right now, which might be a little hard to see. But this is a woman by the name of Mariah Sultan. Mariah is a very prolific artist. She did 40 paintings a year ago up at High Point University for a great show. That was a two-level show, and it was a case where very well attended. If you've never heard of High Point University, it is very high in cost to attend. They have a 3-star restaurant on the property. She currently has 18 paintings on the first level of the CBS building in New York, where she is doing a major show. And Maria will also be the art curator for CBS going forward. She's a very interesting lady. She was a producer in TV for a long time in life. She has 2 Emmys. I know they're real because I touched them last year. And she produced the March Madness, which was the basketball tournament. And last year she did both March Madness and the Masters tournament. So when she feels a need to make a few dollars extra, she calls up CBS, ABC, or one of those TV stations to see what's available for her to produce. And she is sought after for almost any sporting event going on. And she will have some new art in the gallery. She will be part of our East Coast show on the January show, East Meets West.
So we just have 2 of her paintings on display right now, but you're going to have a bigger selection of her work come January.
Yes, we will.
Great. Is she an East or a West?
Pardon?
Is she an East or a West?
She's East.
All right.
She presently lives in High Point, North Carolina. She has a gallery over in Raleigh that's been very successful for her. She just sold 2 paintings, by the way, to Duke University. She has 6 paintings in a show called The Ballers on Sunday night on HBO with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And also, HBO has just purchased another 9 of her paintings to go on some of their new productions. So she's quite prolific, and her new paintings are going to be on canvas and on board. But she'll be using more oil. As you can see, she uses mixed media, which is pencil, pen, crayon, everything. So she's quite well recognized for her style.
Well, we have the statue in the photo. You want to talk a little bit about this statue?
This is from a lady by the name of Sally Warnikoff. Sally is a local sculpturist here in Key West. And Sally was over in Italy about 2 years ago studying, and she went to the pit that the statue of David was mined for by Michelangelo. They allow you, if you can carry it out, to carry any pieces. So Sally brought back this piece of marble from that pit. And as you can see, she's done a beautiful job. It is very heavy.
But not that expensive for the work and the quality.
Not at all. I think it's only like $4,000. And I think that's very moderate for a piece of this quality. Sally also works in clay and does a great deal of work with kiln, dried clay with different finishes on the pieces. This is a lady called MJ Levy, by the way. MJ lives in New York City and also up in Nantucket. And MJ just spent 2 years of her life off in China, where she helped establish the curriculum for art at a new university that has been put together by Keene University and the government of China. And MJ was writing the curriculum and teaching over there for the last 2 years. She does some great work, and some of her major pieces are what she calls sea glass, which is so technical and so hard to do, it's unbelievable. But it's really the things that you see washed up on the beach, like the bottles that have been broken and tumbled until they become great pieces of color art. So MJ will be here probably for a private show, a one-lady show, probably in late March, maybe early April. The date to be set, but hasn't been put down on paper yet.
Any final words for the viewers in Key West?
Well, this is just a few of our artists that we have on display. We are always looking for great figurative and contemporary artists. And we have a new show probably every 30 days or less. And we'll have at least 6 to 7 shows this year. So it's a never-changing gallery, and we are always looking to provide the best of quality at the best price.
And it seems like you've been busy these days. I've seen you packing up a lot of paintings to ship out, so I guess business is good.
Well, I tell you what's been very, very rewarding is that we seem to be shipping as many paintings to Boston and to Connecticut and New York as we are selling here locally. So it's very gratifying to see some of the people who have houses here are buying their houses back up on what we like to call the mainland. So it's always good to see people purchase locally for their houses, but it's also great to see them shipping it north.
And it's also good to see you busy selling paintings as well. You have such a great selection here.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming today.
Okay, we're off.
A little rambly?
No, it was great. It was good.